Hi, my name is Jim Sarnowski with the Hobie Cat Company. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install the new Tandem Island and Adventure Island rudder. We'll first go through the parts that come in the kit. You have the rudder, which comes with tubes and lines assembled. You have two rudder pins, one to be used and one spare. Two jam cleats and 4 screws. The tools that you need are, it's helpful to have a cordless screwdriver. Can be done without a cordless screwdriver, it's just easier with the cordless screwdriver. A pair of vice grips or similar pliers. This allows you to do the job by yourself. If you have a partner, you can do it without the pliers. A Phillips head screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, pair of scissors or a sharp knife. I've got both a knife and a pair of scissors today. So the first step is to remove the existing rudder, and we do this by cutting the steering lines first. Okay, the next step is to cut the up and down control lines. But before we do that, we are going to either have a partner hold the line or grip the line with a pair of pliers, which prevents the line which are held in by, or have some bungee tension in them, from sliding back into the boat. There is an upside down pad eye under this screw which secures the control lines. And so I am removing those control lines from that pad eye. And now they've been cleared. And so the one that's on the left here is the line, the down control line. And it's on the starboard side of the boat. So what I'm going to do is pinch this tube with the pair of pliers, and that's going to keep that line from moving inside of the tube when I cut the control line. So now I can come back to where the control line is attached and simply cut it. Now I can come back into the boat, and I can remove the tube, and as you can see the line. So we're going to repeat the procedure for the other control line. Put the pliers on it. Cut it. And because I'm holding it with the pliers, it doesn't move. I release it slowly, and the line moves through the tube and stops. So now I can pull the line out of the tube. So now I have essentially 4 lines. Well, I can remove the other 2 as well. So all of the lines have been removed from the tubes. So I have a left and a right steering line. I'm pulling on them and I'm noticing that they turn the steering handles. And I have the up and the down lines for the rudder. Next step is removing the tubes from the boat. I'm going to start with this steering line here off to the side. I'm pushing it from the inside and pulling it out. If it doesn't want to come out or is stubborn, you can use a flathead screwdriver and kind of pry it out, but typically you can push it out with your fingers. These tubes are no longer going to be used and can be discarded. The next step is to remove the existing rudder. The easiest technique is to squeeze together the prongs on the bottom of the rudder pin. I'm going to release the rudder up, get it out of the way, squeezing those together slightly, pushing up, pushes the pin into the bottom of the rudder. You can grip the rudder pin with a pair of pliers and pull it the rest of the way out. Okay, the next step is to install the new rudder. Place the rudder over the existing gudgeon and insert the rudder pin from the top. As you can see, there's only one way that the pin goes in all the way. And then you place the ring ding, which is included in the kit, through the hole in the bottom of the pin to secure the pin in place. These tubes on the new rudder into the hull. We start with putting the line with the knot, both knots through the hole. Grab a hold of that line and pull it so that the tube goes all the way in. And now use our flathead screwdriver, push it, a couple small taps. We're ready to install the up and down control lines. There's two lines for the up and down control. One pulls it up and one pulls it down. The lines exit the top of the rudder, as you can see, one below and one above. The one above, if you pull on it, pulls the rudder up, and the one below pulls the rudder down. The down controls on the boat are located on the right hand or the starboard side of the boat. And so the down control line, which is the bottom line on the rudder head, needs to go on the right hand or the starboard side hole. There's two holes. Putting the line with the knot in first, grabbing the line, pulling it in, pull the tension, and upper line going into the left hand side, finish by tapping in the line covers. So now all four lines have been installed. So you can see the up and down lines go through this groove in the top of the pin. Pull tension on the lines. Alright, our next step is to attach the rudder control lines to the control lines on the inside of the boat. It is essential that we connect the right lines together. We have two lines running to the rudder. We have two lines running to the steering handles. The easy way to make sure we get the right steering control line hooked to the right rudder line is to pull on one of the lines until we see the rudder, the tillers both move to the right. See, the tillers have moved to the right, and now I want to pull on the rudder control line and make it turn to the left. So these are the two lines that need to be connected together. So this is the steering line. It has quite a bit of extra line. We don't need to tie the connection at the end of it. We need the knot to be tied somewhere around in the center of the hatch. So the knot that we use is an overhand loop knot. First we take the line, fold it over, and then simply tie an overhand knot, creating a loop. And now this loop is used to create a cinch knot, and to do that the line is bent forward and folded over. So now there is a hole through both lines that the rudder line can be inserted into. We're going to go to the second knot, since we're on the tandem island, past the second knot, and pulling on that knot tightens it, sliding it against the stopper knot. It's a very strong knot that will not slip. Okay, now we're ready to tie the other side of the rudder line on. So first I'm going to pull on it and watch the tillers turn to the left, or the steering handles turn to the left. I'm going to tie my overhand loop knot, again just about in the middle of this hatch. So you can see I've got plenty of extra control line. The position of this knot is not critical because we can adjust the length and position of the steering lines back at the rudder using the adjustable screws that are on the rudder. So first I tie this overhand loop knot. I then fold over the loop, again slowly fold it over, bring it together, and now as you can see we've created this cinching loop knot. Install it through both knots and pull and cinch. These tails can be cut off at the very end of our installation procedure. Okay, now that we have attached the steering lines, they go to the rudder all the way up to the steering handle, we can pull some tension on these lines, pulling the slack out of the lines. I loosened the screws that hold the lines down, and I'm pulling some tension on the lines. We want to center the rudder and the steering handles. So we can do that by pulling tension on the two rudder lines until we have the tiller pointing forward and the rudder pointing back. I then like to pull it off to one side a little bit, pulling some of the line in, then tighten the line down with the screw on one side. Do this fairly tight, make sure that the line doesn't slip. Then pull it off to the other side, pull in a fair amount of tension on the line. If you tighten the lines when the rudder is turned to the side like this, you can put more tension in the lines, because as the rudder is straightened, the tension increases. So now we have the rudder pointing forward and the tiller controls pointing forward. So that completes the installation of the steering part of the rudder installation. Now we need to attach the up and down control lines. We're going to start with the up line, raising the rudder. We are going to hold the rudder in the up position using this webbing strap and bungee hook assembly. Hook it onto this metal pad eye there. So you can see it's holding the rudder in the up position. We now reach inside and grab the up control line, which is the one on the left side right here. It's also the one coming out of the top of the rudder head. That is this line right here. So you can see we have two knots tied into that line. We now take the up control line, which now we only have two remaining gray control lines, and it's the one leading off to the left hand side of the boat, and it attaches to these up control